Hey guys, welcome back. Orabomb here, bringing you another one of our live deck profiles. Once again, being uploaded straight from the phone, raw, while we wait for a computer to come in. So, if you guys want support for the computer, Patreon, merch, shout outs to my sponsors. I think they'll be supporting me, although not right away because, it's tight for everyone right around now. But we're doing Blacephalon today. This is my favorite deck, so this is probably going to be a relatively short one. I'm going to talk a little bit about like matchups and stuff like that, but Blacephalon GX, as you guys know, has been probably one of my main decks since its release. I love this deck. It's so much fun to play. It's very mindless, which is great for me because I work a lot, so I don't have time to think. You think I don't got time for that? No, not today. So we're going to go over the deck profile, but don't forget to drop a like if you haven't already, and answer the comment question today, which is going to be what's one of your favorite decks of all time? It doesn't have to be current meta. It doesn't have to be in the past year or 2 years. It can be anytime. Anytime you've played Pokemon, what has been one of your favorite decks to play? Let me know in the comments down below. Remember, commenters will not only get a chance to win a booster box of Unified Mind thanks to our sponsors at Guardian Gamings, but also a couple codes as well thanks to them as well. So don't forget to leave a comment down below and drop a like. This goes for all of my post-rotation matches and videos in general. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I don't think there is, so we're going to go right into this. We're going to try and make this video a little bit shorter than most of them just because I'm kind of busy. But we got 4 Blacephalons because I want to lead them, and I just really loved playing 4 recently. I've been a huge advocate of playing 3 when Rescue Stretcher was around, but 4 seems to be working just fine now that we don't have Rescue Stretcher. It has all the essential attacks. Burst GX is great for taking an immediate prize, also can skew the prize trade in your favor sometimes. Mind Blown does 50 for each fire energy you remove from play, and Bursting Burn is great for confusion and burning, which is great because there's a lot less switching in format, which means status conditions like that can really stick and be even more annoying than they were before. Of course, we do have our 4/4 line of Poipo Naganadel. I am playing the Poipo that poisons because once again, lack of switching does help a lot in the format. I played the prize looking one for many months, and overall, the poison damage just seems to help the most, but this is more like in a Zoroark metas, right? So we'll see without Zoroark, without those awkward 210 HP Pokemon, if this is better. But there's still things like 270 HP, things like that, so it could still be really useful. But probably one of my favorite cards that come out, and one of my favorite additions to this deck is the Naganadel GX here, the Dragon type one, which is searchable by treasure, of course, 1 retreat cost, and with an amazing ability, Ultra Conversion. Once during your turn, you may discard an Ultra Beast card from your hand. If you do, draw 3 cards. This is great because we have a heavy line of Blacephalon, a heavy line of Naganadel, which helps a lot because we're never going to play 4 Blacephalons in a game. Let's be 100% real. There's not really a reason to. So thanks to Naganadel, thanks to that, we're able to discard them, which will help us dig deeper into our deck. Mostly during Beast Ring turns, we can dig even deeper thanks to having this 1 of Naganadel. Honestly thinking about making it a 2 of, but I cannot for the life of me find the space for it right now. So right now, just a 1 of. The ability to be able to discard and having a really strong attacking presence in this deck because we don't play any gusting in this deck. I don't feel like there's really a reason to play custom catchers. Custom catchers, I will say, would work in this deck because most of the time we want to add cards to our hand, and the best way to do that is through this Naga. So if I were to play maybe like a second Naga, custom catchers could be pretty good. But the attack of Venom Shot is so good in this deck. Discard 2 energy from this Pokemon. This attack does damage. This attack does 170 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon. So this can be active or bench. 170 is great for knocking out the Denes, and so many decks are going to be playing the Denes to get their decks rolling. So it's really, really powerful just to be able to snipe. Not to mention, the attack is a little bit more manageable than Blacephalon. Sure, it's a 4 energy attack cost, and sure, you need a Psychic energy, which can be covered by both the basic Psychic and a Beast energy. But instead of having to remove the energies from play, you're only discarding them, which means they stay in play so your Nagas can charge them up, which also means that you can do more burst damage with your Blacephalon GX when you need to as well. 1 retreat cost is good. Injection GX, I guess we can talk about it because it's possible to use it. Ooh, man, that's a thunderstorm. Hope you guys can't hear too much of that. Although you probably can because I can't really edit this audio. Injection GX, add a card from your opponent's discard pile to the prize cards face down. So we can use it. I don't think I ever would use it. I would almost every time rather take a prize with burst, but it's an option for you nonetheless. So I went on my spiel with Naga. Another reason why we don't ever really need to play 4 Blacephalon GXs is because we actually have 1 Mewtwo Tag Team GXs. It was in Japanese, but I know what it does. 270 HP, which is great because sometimes you're down to like one prize remaining and you can just bring this up and have a really heavy Pokemon. It gives you a psychic type attacker, so you hit for a different weakness, and it can copy the attacks of both Blacephalon when it's on the board or discard pile, and Naganadel GX, which is something that's pretty useful as well. If you wanted to, you could even add like more psychic energies to use that second attack, which does 200 and fully heals all your Pokemon if you have extra energies attached to it. Not super interested in adding a bunch of psychic energies because I don't know when I would ever manually attach them. You know what I mean? So I don't think it's super great, but it is another attacking option that you have in this deck. And the reason why I play this is because I don't want to play Lysander Labs in this deck. There's a bunch of other stadiums in this deck, so I don't feel like Lysander Labs is super great. And Gardevoir Sylveon is kind of a threat, right? Because they have the Ultra Beast Fairy Charm, which will block this, and they have Power Plant to block this. But most of the time, you can stop them from having both at a time. We do play quite a few number of supporters stadiums in this deck, so we can almost always bump the Power Plant and start attacking with this dude. Of course, we can't do anything about the tool. That's why we can't reliably attack with Blacephalon to take knockouts, but we can reliably attack with this a lot of the time thanks to the sheer amount of stadiums options that we do have in this deck. So I think it's just a great option just in general. And once again, searchable with treasure. Now, we have one Mew because Psy Power is sometimes pretty useful for putting things in range of different attacks, but mostly for Pikarom. Pikarom's a great deck, and I don't want to lose to it. It's really that simple. And then one Ditto, so we have options to evolve into our other Nagas when we need to. So that's going to be the Pokemon line. I'm actually really, really happy with the way this turned out. I'm not playing any Dedennes. I know that's going to be the first thing that comes out in your guys' heads. I'm not playing Cherish Ball in this deck. I just don't Holy crap. It is storming. I'm going to try and make this video even shorter. I'm just going to be completely honest. I don't like Cherish Ball too much in this deck. It's hard to fit in Cherish Balls, and like the Dedennes, as good as they are, I just found that I've never needed them. The deck has been pretty consistent without the Dedennes, and I can't really find the deck space for it, to be 100% honest. It's really hard to make the Dedennes work, and then you have to play Cherish Balls, which means you have to cut into your stadiums. In this deck, Ultra Space is like infinitely better than Cherish Ball in almost every scenario, and then you have treasures to search all the things you can't search with Ultra Space except for Ditto, and you can't search for Ditto with Cherish Ball anyways, so it doesn't matter regardless. So yeah, let's go ahead and go into the rest of the cards. We have 4 treasures, like I mentioned earlier. It's all about getting as many Poipos down as possible, which is another reason why I like Ultra Space more than Cherish Ball, because Ultra Space can search Poipos, which Cherish Ball cannot do. And in Blacephalon, a lot of you guys that play Blacephalon know it's all about getting as many Poipos down turn 1 as possible. So you definitely want the 4 Ultra Space, 4 treasure to get down all those Poipos and Blacephalons and stuff like that. 4 B strings, because our B strings are the blood of the deck. And that's it really for the trainers. We play 1 Reset Stamp. That's a flexible spot. I think Reset Stamp is great, and I think it's like one of those cards you kind of have to play because it can really swing games in your favor. So I do like Reset Stamp a lot. So I think you have to play it personally, but you know, you can take it out if you want to. Just be able to shuffle your opponent's hand and make them draw equal to the amount of supporters prizes they have remaining. For Ultra Space, like I mentioned earlier, and here's what I mean by having a lot of stadiums. We also play 2 Giant Furnace. It lets you discard a card from your hand and put 2 Fire Energies into your hand. That helps great because we also play a lot of Welders in this deck. Between Welders and B-String, you will always have energies on the board. Like, it's kind of ridiculous how many energies you can get on the board on one time. You guys saw in that game, turn 1, I was able to hit 150, which for weakness hit 300 versus Tag Team Mewtwo because of Welder. Like, being able to hit 150 turn 1, 300 with weakness, that's a little bit ridiculous. So Welder, great card for that. And of course, Heat Factory, because why wouldn't you play Heat Factory? It's your fire deck. Helps you dig even further. There's a lot of digging potential, if you can tell. There's a lot of draw 3s. You got Naga, you got Heat Factory, you got, of course, Welders. Then you have the big draws like Cynthia and sometimes Lily. Although I can't wait till we get a different draw supporter to replace Lily, I'm not going to lie. But for the time being, I am liking 4 Lilies. So 4 Lilies here, 4 Cynthias here, and 4 Welders. I am going really heavy on the Welder. I think Welder's an amazing card in this deck. I can't see myself playing less than 4. Maybe I can cut down to 3, but just having access to Welder all the time is so strong. Welder in this deck can really turn tables and really helps you in a lot of different matchups. I think with Naganadel GX's attacking presence, Welder is even better because now you can Welder up and set yourself up to take knockouts on the bench, because you're not always gonna want to knock out the active. Like, players will like try to play around the Blacephalon by putting up non-GX Pokemon in their active position to work around you, but if you can have Naga to knock out their bench, like their support Pokemon or their bench GXs, things like that, you can even use Mew to Psi Power to weaken them to put them in range of Naganadel as well, which is something I see myself doing in test games. As far as the energies go, we are playing quite a few energies. 5, 10, 14 basic fire, 1 psychic. I'm playing the 1 psychic because you can B-string onto your Naganadel GX and grab the psychic energy, so it's actually really, really useful for that. And of course, 1 beast energy as well. These 2 can be dedicated to your Naganadel GX a lot of the time. Psychic energy is just good because it lets you hit those. It helps you find the damage. Because we're digging through our deck quite a bit, thanks to Ultra Space and Treasure, we're able to dig quite a bit through our deck and try to find this psychic energy if we need to find it for a manual attachment. But most of the time, we're keeping it in the deck so that we can use Beast Ring to get it out on a Naganadel GX, and then of course Beast Energy as well. I think that's everything, guys. I can't really think of too much. I know people are worried about the baby Tapu Fini that's coming out that can essentially Oko and Naganadel or Blacephalon GX. I will say right now that's not really a threat. There's not really a way to search out the baby Fini, because the baby Fini is only searchable through things like Pokecom and Fan Club, and usually you're using Pokecom and Fan Club to set yourself up throughout the game, not to search out Fini to take a tech knockout. It's also a deck slot, and now that we have like less search options in general, deck slots you can't really just put in filler cards in your deck anymore, because it's all about pulling off your strategies consistently as possible, since we lost a lot of consistency cards like Ultra Ball and stuff like that. So I don't think people are going to be playing Fini personally, but maybe you disagree with me. Let me know everything in the comments down below. Remember, have a chance to win all the good shenanigans. And yes, I'm still trying to get a computer, so if you guys want to help me out, I have a bunch of merch. I have a bunch of I have Patreon. My Gmail link is a PayPal link. If you guys ever want to support me in any way you can to help me get out of this rut that I'm in, to help me get a new computer and stuff, feel free to. It's always greatly appreciated. Shout out to all the Patreons as always. I have to start making a list, but it'll be easier once I get a computer, right? Because once I get a computer, I'll be able to list off all the Patreon supporters and all the people that buy heavy amounts of merch, like my buddy Charlene, who bought like so many hoodies and t-shirts. Anyways, you guys can probably hear that background noise, but maybe it's calming. I don't know. Probably not. I'm going to quickly record the Zygarde deck, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.